Tide Talk with Webb is back. Back here with Bop Webb. We're going to talk some football. And, man, I had to collect my thoughts after the Indiana game. You know what the Indiana game reminded me of? Reminded me of a 5-year-old that was unruly in Walmart in the 1980s where the dad took the belt out and just boom right across his bare ass in the aisles and everybody clapped. That's what it felt like. In the last 3 games, we had 48 total rushing yards. It was embarrassing. The most embarrassing thing wasn't even the defense, and everybody said, well, they packed it in. I get it because the offense couldn't do anything, and it started bad early in the game. We go for it, try to trick them and get them to jump off sides on 4th and 1. Doesn't work. We call a timeout, go back out there again, try it again. It doesn't work. Instead of lining up your best 245-pound running back, you give it to a 185-pound receiver and have him go sideways for no gain. And the thing that got me is that line, they were doing stunts and they were going over trying to block other people, and they couldn't even find people to block. They were crashing into each other and falling over and get pushed backwards. I don't know, even during the Shula era, if I ever remember anybody doing that. And numbers 64 and 75 were like dadgum turnstiles, mainly Formby. That was the most pathetic offensive line I've seen in probably my whole life. I've never seen Alabama play that absolute pathetic on the line play. I'm sorry. Kapovich, the offensive line coach, got to go. If it had been me, Monday morning, as soon as I get back on Sunday afternoon, Sam Pittman's sitting in his office, and Monday morning when he comes in and clicks on the light, Sam Pittman's sitting there saying, hey, sorry, man, you got to pack your stuff. You got to go.
Yep. It was actually worse than that. Quick 2-minute story. Of course, Dad, your grandfather went to Alabama, and so we watch the Bear Bryant show every week. The Bear Bryant show was on Sundays, and it would recap. Coach Bryant would be live, and he would recap the game along with Charlie Thornton, who was the assistant athletic director. And we would watch it. I mean, it was just something that we did, me and Dad, every Sunday, regardless. We did it. We watched it. And little did I know, I would eventually be interviewing Coach Bryant every day after practice, trying to follow Dad's footsteps to Alabama. And so I've been following Alabama since probably about 1965. About 65. So I know a little bit about Alabama history. I followed it, went to lots of games. Of course, I graduated from there. I worked for Charlie Thornton, who was the athletic director over the sports information department. So I was an insider. I knew what was going on. I went to practice every day, went to the games. I know a little bit about that Alabama standard. And in my lifetime of keeping up with Alabama for, 60 years now, because I'm about 71, the last 2 years, the offensive line is the worst offensive line I've seen at Alabama in my lifetime. 60 years. When DeBoer came in, I was really excited. But the offensive line was awful last year. And because Jalen Milroe was so fast and elusive, he masks the problem. But this year, we didn't have a guy that could run a 4-3, and it actually got worse, and we were more exposed. And after the game, the last couple of days, I've been thinking, and DeBoer's a wonderful man. I love the guy. He's a good father. He's a good husband. He's a good family man. He's won everywhere he's been. But if he wants to be at Alabama more than just one more year, I think he's got to go in with a broom and be radical. I think he's got to get rid. I agree with you 100% on the offensive line coach. I mean, he has to go. But I think it's going to be even deeper than that. I think the running backs coach He just has to go.
Bad,
They don't
pathetic.
look like they know what they're doing.
You had daggone Jam Miller. He comes around the end to block that defensive end, no name from Indiana. Now, don't get me wrong, they were great. Indiana was great. All credit goes to them. They kicked our ass. Great, amazing team. I hope they win the championship. Jeremy, Jam Miller, stopped because he didn't want to block the guy. That tells me you're not a tough coach. That tells me nobody's afraid of going to the sidelines and having to face your ass because you didn't block somebody. And then
Yep.
he's looking at Ty Simpson like, hey, man, you all right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, what we're going to do is get Ty hurt. I was scared of that all year, and he got hurt twice, really bad this year, and that's why he couldn't finish the game. I saw him when he was throwing. He looked at the other coach and said, "I can't go." You could read
Mm-hmm.
his lips. I can't go.
Yep.
They're trying to throw the ball, so we're lucky that he didn't get hurt permanently. I believe that he will go in the portal, which is best for him and his family because he'll make millions. I think he's like the third uh, quarterback pick on Mel Kiper's big board. Not first round, but still, he's going to make millions. And if he comes back next year, he'll just get creamed. Let's say. So what I think needs to happen is DeBoer needs to really just get radical, bring in 5 guys out of the portal that are ready to play on the offensive line, because the 5 guys that we've got were the best 5 that we've got in the offensive line room. They aren't competitive. So he's got to start from ground zero there. I think the defensive line coach has got to go. I think the linebackers coach needs to go. Probably special teams. I think there's going to be maybe 3 to 5 guys that are there now coaching right now that won't be there next year.
Well,
The board wants to be a permanent fixture there. If he wants to coach more than 1 year there, his family loves Tuscaloosa. He's going to have to make some hard choices. That's my opinion.
now the only thing I will disagree, I will say defensive line coach, no, and the only reason I say this is Keon Keeley came out of nowhere, was making a difference. Yanze Pierre came out of nowhere, was making a huge difference. Tim Keenan, they were getting stops. They were doing stuff. The only games that we lost, they're out on the field 90% of the time. We couldn't do anything offensively at all. So I would be fine keeping him. And I'm even fine keeping Kane Womack. Don't have a problem with that. The coaches, in my opinion, that absolutely have to go, no questions asked. O-line coach, hey, love you. Here's your buyout. Hit the road. This ain't the conference for you. You got to go. Running backs coach, you're gone. You're soft as old toilet paper at elementary school. You got to go. I definitely think when you look at the other coaches, you may want to take a long look at Ballou, the strength and conditioning coach. And that's 50-50 with me. Grubb, and I said this on way back on a podcast, excited to have him, but I was worried about the offense he put on the field at Seattle. He gets fired at Seattle. Seattle's 13-3 right now and charging in the playoffs and have one of the best offenses in the NFC North, or sorry, the NFC. And the thing they complained about him was he could never run the ball. It's like he wouldn't game plan for each team. I'm 50-50. Maybe give him a second year, but I'm telling you this right now so you can look back 12 months from this moment. If he's the offensive coordinator again, we will be sitting here again saying we need another offensive coordinator. And I hate to say it, but that's what it feels like. I could be wrong. There was no improvement on the offensive line. Absolutely not one piss poor improvement on that run game that was awful. And I'm sorry, you're Alabama, you recruit top 5. To me, it's mind-boggling. Your offensive line is not only the worst in the SEC, you're worse than teams like Auburn. You're worse than teams like Vandy. You're 120th in the country. Think on that, 120th. That's pathetic. That's bad. And I'm sorry, we didn't have show-stopping first-round running backs, but we had enough to get 120 yards, 100 yards a game consistently. Absolutely pathetic and unacceptable. In my opinion, Chris Kapovich has got to go, offensive line coach. The special team coach, yeah, I mean, I like Cole Adams. I love him. He got in the portal. but this is all he did. That's all. That's all. I mean, so whatever he was at, that's whatever yards you got. They never did anything to get yards, anything better. Never put anybody better back there. You had better people like Rico Scott, who already got in the portal. He could have been back there. That was quicker. Like I said, he's got to go. I think that your running backs coach Gillespie. Let me write. I got the list here. O-line coach Krit Kapchevik, gone. Running backs coach Robert Gillespie, gone. David Ballou, 50-50. And Grubb, he's 50-50, but honestly, it wouldn't hurt me if he leaves. Now, the bigger question is, who do you replace them with? Simple, in my opinion. Simple, in my opinion. One, I'm going to bring Pruitt in. His no-show clause just ended. I don't care what he does. I'm putting him on my staff. I'm paying him at least $100 or $200K a year to have him sit there if we need him. I'll have him run special teams. I don't care. I want him on the squad. If you fire the linebackers coach, which I'm fine with that, make him we need a nasty dog, a coach who, when he comes in there, people get out of his way in the hallway, who's like, man, we can't mess with this guy today. I don't want a choir boy. I want a thug who's going to run off the porch and slap you in front of your mom and look at you. Or slap your mom in that car. I don't care. I want somebody nasty. I want someone with an attitude. Now, also, special teams coach, go get somebody else. There's all the coaches that got fired, there's a better one out there, I promise you, that's sitting in the unemployment line. Get him. As far as the OC goes, if you want to make that change, I don't think he'll have to do it this year. I would. If he's going to do it, I'm telling you right now, I'd go on my knees back to Tommy Rees, because Tommy Rees took really a running back that should have been a running back or wide receiver and made him a top QB in the SEC that got better every week. Even in the playoffs against Michigan, lost the game, he got better. I'm bringing him in, and I'm looking for a different strength and conditioning coach. I want those guys who were like Salson Series, who were out there that had a knee surgery, who's screaming at people and grabbing face masks. I don't want no ice cream trucks and let's sing Kumbaya and let's paint our fingernails. No. I want mean SOBs that you'll go to war with and fight in any trench with. I want people that say, God, I don't want to. Just like Jan Miller pulled up on the defensive end and didn't, because he didn't want to block him. I want to be that guy that people do not want to block. And we have lost it. Now, DeBoer, I think, is the right man for the job. I think he has the wrong soft-ass coaches in positions that they don't need to be in. And I'm excluding Kane Womack. But I'm sorry, I think Grubb is a nice man. He's not the right fit for Bama or the SEC. I'm just saying it right now. Not the right fit for us. Kapovic sure as hell ain't. I don't know what he's doing because he's not watching game film. He's not teaching those young men, when you pull, you actually have to block somebody and not run into people and fall backwards. That's not happening. That needs to change. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in Sam Pittman and make him the O-line coach. I mean, he's sitting in Arkansas doing nothing. Why not grab him? I think Pruitt, I think he's home in Jacksonville, Alabama. He just sitting there. Hey, let's use him.
Now, DeBoer did say in an interview yesterday, he did say big changes are coming, just wait. I don't know what that means. I've been trying to flesh it out and find facts on that. Don't know what it means. I'll be this. If all those coaches are back next year, especially the D-line coach and the running backs coach, I'll be shocked.
Yeah. I think he's trying to prepare people. I think there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, like right now, trying to get replacement coaches in so that when he makes the announcement that, however many coaches he's going to be letting go, introduce the ones that he's bringing in. I think all those negotiations are going on right now. There's not a lot of people sleeping in Tuscaloosa that's running the program. They're working their tails off. They're earning their money right now. And especially the guy that's in charge of the portal. There's 2,000 guys in the portal.
No. There's actually over 4,500.
Out of Auburn. There's 31 players in there.
Well, there's 4,500 total players right now in the portal.
Good grief. That's a lot to choose from. And like I say, all of those offensive linemen that are in the portal, all they had to do was watch one series of Alabama's offense, and they said, well, I'm better than that guy. And Frombury, thank the Lord, he's in the portal.
Well,
75, the right tackle.
did you know he had a 7-figure deal last year to leave Alabama? Somebody out there, I don't know who, I couldn't figure out
Oh
who.
gosh,
They were going to pay him 7 figures. I'm like, to do
he,
what?
he
To
should have
draw
put the money
smiley
in the fund.
faces?
Good grief. But we got to have 5 new starters. Not anybody on the current team right now, not the second team, because the second team is not as good as the first team that we had, and they were awful. So we've got to just do a clean slate, bring in 5 starters out of the portal. I think it's got to happen.
But this is the thing too. We got to have a new O line coach because bringing him in with Chris Kapovich, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
He could have Miami's offensive line, and I don't think it would matter. That guy is soft as toilet tissue. He's got to go. I don't
Yeah.
care what his payout. He's got to go. And now, like I said, there's some other guys in the portal I thought were very interesting, notable guys that I thought Noah Carter. I didn't want to see him go because he was doing good things and he was progressing. Keon Keeley, I did not want to see get in the portal because he
Mm-hmm.
really was making a difference. You were seeing him progress. You're like, next year he's really going to pop all season, not the last 4 games of the season. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to see Rico Scott leave. I really liked Rico Scott. Maybe he
Mm-hmm.
feels like he's not going to go on the field. Um, like I said, we've got linemen piling up in the portal. We've got Jalen Hale, another great wide receiver, got injured really bad. He didn't see himself getting out there. He got in the portal. One of our really good kick returners. He also got in the portal. And his name escapes me right now. I should have written it down for notes for the show. But he got in the portal. Now he was not a great kick returner. He could always secure it, but he was not great. Like I said, a lot of that goes to coaching. Like I said, I think we definitely need 3 coaching changes on that staff. Period. If nothing else, if he does nothing else, replaces that O line coach, that has to happen. But I really think if you don't replace the offensive coordinator, the O line coach, and the running backs coach, we're sitting here right here again in December, and we may not make the playoffs. I'm just being honest. I'm being
Yeah.
dead honest about that.
Yeah. I don't want to just tread water. I want to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Coleman visited today in Tuscaloosa, that wide receiver from Auburn, but that's not a position of need. Our top 5 guys that we've got at wide receiver, I wouldn't trade him for anybody, another 5 from anybody in the country.
Now
So,
Bernard's not coming back. He's not coming back, so I anticipate we're going to get somebody in the portal because of the guys that left. I do anticipate we will get 1 or 2 receivers out of the portal. He's not coming back. We know that Williams is coming back. Ryan Williams is coming back. We know that Latsier Brooks, he's coming back. He's a heavy hitter. We don't know if Isaiah Horton's coming back or not. I hope he does. He's a really great receiver. He's underrated. I hope he comes back. We got Sedarian Morgan, who's everybody's from the recruiting class. Everybody said he's lighting it up. We've also got Derek Meadows sitting back there. He got really hurt during the season. He's 6'6", 6'7". That's another big one. We'll probably add another one from the portal. But the thing with Coleman is I don't think we get him. I'd be willing to bet a whole month's pay on that because
yeah.
what we're seeing is the offer that people are throwing out, like Texas Tech. That's probably where he's going to wind up, or A&M. They're throwing out offers between $2 million and $4 million. And to me, we need to worry about that offensive line. I'll put out $6 million for a good offensive line. I hate to say it, Cam Coleman's great. Love to have him. He got coached by the coach that's coming in for us, the new wide receivers coach, and Derek. I think his name is Derek Nix. I don't know why his name is escaping right now. But he's got that connection. But if I'm him, I would personally not come to Alabama. I would go to those other schools, make the big money, then jump to the pros, just for having a little cushion there to invest. And the thing is, we need an offensive line. I don't care who's wide receiver and our quarterbacking for
Mhm.
us. I have to one point I got to push back on where you said it talked about Ty Simpson was going to go in the portal. I don't think he goes to the portal. I think there's other people that I've seen him have a first round late grade because there's not a ton of quarterbacks coming out in this draft. I think he should just go to the draft, and then we'll try to figure out a young quarterback from there. like I said, another reason why I really, 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 really wish he would go get Tommy Reese from the pros. We need a guy like that that can develop a quarterback.
Hmm.
Regardless of who you pick out of this whole group that's there, we need that kind of offensive coordinator who can also game plan for every team specifically. Find that weakness. Find those plays for that weakness. Go into the locker room like a Lane Kiffin did back in the day and say, "Hey, they're weak at this point. We can exploit this." And
Hmm.
I feel like Grubb sometimes just looks at his Candyland board, spins the wheel there, and then sees if he can come up with a play. And well, it worked last week. Maybe it'll work. And you're like, what are we doing here? What's going on?
Hmm.
So yeah, that has got to change. And like I said, that's kind of what we need. I think he either goes. I think he goes pro. I don't think he goes to the portal. I could be wrong, but you know,
Yeah, I think he'll declare for the draft because being a third quarterback taken. Well, all of these pros they know that once they watch an Alabama game, when given time, like 3 seconds, Simpson's great.
mhm.
He will absolutely pick you apart, but he's only got it like 1.5 seconds, and he's got three linemen in his face. So I think he may go higher than Mel Kiper thinks, just because of his talent. I mean, we were talking Heisman Trophy in the middle of the year for Simpson because he was playing great. He had time, but as the season wore on, he didn't have time, and
Mm-mm.
the receivers couldn't even run their route, and he was just having to dump it or take a sack or throw it in the stands. So I'm pretty sure Simpson is going to be in the draft. We've got two great quarterbacks. Mac, he could start for any program in the country probably. And the young guy, the phenom, the Gatorade Player of the Year.
Keelan
Uh,
Russell.
yeah, I think it's going to be between those two in spring ball to see who's going to be the starting quarterback. I suspect it may be Mac just because he's older, mature, and he's been in DeBoer's system, from Washington. I could be wrong, but I would say that he's the favorite going in. Um, he's big, he's fast, man. He's got an arm. He's accurate. He can run too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we'll see on that. Another guy that hit the portal at Alabama that surprised everyone was that uh, offensive lineman Roberts.
Yes.
He was a project, and he was getting more. Well, he's bailed. He's in the portal, so I don't think there's hardly anybody left in the offensive lineman room that could put on a Bama jersey and
For the
play at
it,
least
the
better than what we've got. No, because they'd be on the field if they were. So we've got to start it. It's basically ground zero for
for the
the offense.
line, like you said, there's not a lot of guys left, and a lot of those guys I don't think we're going to play anyway. Hornby probably would have. There's something to be said for he started 2 years, but I think, and this could be maybe this is like a little premonition, but maybe those guys are leaving because a lot of times when a position coach leaves, you're like, he recruited me. I wanted to play for him. I didn't want to play for this new guy. Maybe they've been told, hey, yeah, he's gone. We're getting another coach. We haven't made the
Yeah,
announcement
yeah.
yet. And that could be, or it could not even be the thing. It could just they want to go play somewhere else and start. I don't know.
No, I think there's a lot of communication going on behind the scenes right now, and they probably told Formby, that they're going to be searching for his replacement. Give him a heads up. The guy at Auburn that came over is, I think his last name is Nix.
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name? He knows the whole staff and all of the players at Auburn. Maybe he brings a couple of linemen over. You know, I, we barely got to the quarterback, so they've got some good players, but there's thousands of guys in the portal, and there's a lot of offensive linemen there, and there's I don't know how many teams, 15, 16 that got new coaching staffs. They're being put together. Well, that's 15 or 16 offensive line coaches looking. So I'm sure a ton of phone calls have been made this weekend, and probably going on right now, letting the players know what their situation is. On our offensive line, the center can't come back; he's at eligibility. Proctor, he's a high draft choice. Then the right tackle, Fromby, he's in the portal. That's only two guys, and they aren't really good enough to make a difference. So, yeah, we're at ground zero on the O line.
But I think too, we need to go find Kalen DeBoer is a very humble guy. He has gone to Saban before and talked to him a lot. I do think he may need to be like, hey, Saban, do you know of any guys, or through your connections, do you know of any up and coming guy, or the evaluators during that time that he can talk to? Where's the next Mariano Cristobal? Where's the next Jeff Stoutland, offensive line guy, coach? I need that guy. I need that. And Alabama's not asking to have the number one rushing attack in the country next year. We're asking this to be top 25, top 30 somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Top 120 is not going to cut it. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the problems, the games we lost stem from that, because teams are like, good, try to throw. We're going to do a too high shell. We're going to crowd the box inside from the 15 to the 1 yard line where the ball is, and good luck. And that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the offensive line again, where when you've got guys teeing off on us, when we've got 5 linemen with hands in the dirt and they're getting pressure with 4 guys, and we've potentially even got a 6th blocker in the running back, and they're not even blocking people, that's got to change.
Yeah. I really love the defense of Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. 2 high safety, and the reason why they could run that the entire game is because we didn't have a run game. So they could put those 2 safeties back there, and there was nowhere to go. You had 7 DBs and those 2 safeties. There's no room. And combine that with no time to decipher the field, it was a train wreck.
And with the talent we recruited, even though it looked like we underperformed and underwhelmed in that area, and we certainly did, I think people forget the fact I can handle a 3-point loss. I can handle a 7-point loss. I can even handle a 14-point loss against that team. The thing is, we got our ass thoroughly kicked all the way back to Tuscaloosa, 1, and 2. The thing that got me, does anybody in the nation know who the hell's on that offensive line of theirs? Does anybody know who's on that defensive line? Do you know either of those 2 starting running backs? They were all 3 stars, and I don't give a crap. The talent we had, it was unacceptable. When I saw stuff like guys stunting and pulling, and you run into each other and look like the 3 Stooges and you can't block anybody, that's coaching. And when you see a running back pull up, doesn't want to block the defensive end unless the quarterback get mowed down, you are soft. You don't even belong in the SEC, in my opinion. I love Jan Miller. God bless you. That's soft, and that comes from the coach. That comes from the mentality of the coach. You're soft.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, though,
be
at the
opposed
spring
to
practice here in like 3 months, there sure as hell better not be a damn ice cream truck sitting out there in front of that practice field.
Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to going back to when you were younger. We had a fullback and a tailback. And every time that we ran that formation, we averaged between 9 and 10 yards a carry. Averaged 9 yards.
Back to the days where we had Jalston Fowler as the H-back.
Yep. He was a fullback and put whatever tailback you want, and they blew people off the line. That's when we had a good, strong offensive line. And then Jalston Fowler, who was great. I mean, he weighed about 250, and he was bigger than the linebackers. He would just blow them off the line, and then we pick up a first down almost every single play. I wish our coaches could watch some game film of that, but we had a good offensive line. McCarron, we should have won 3 national titles in a row. We only won 2, but he had a great offensive line. Everybody, that's why he's Alabama royalty. All 5 of those guys that started on the offensive line, all 5 of them went to the NFL. We had an NFL line. That's where it all starts. If that doesn't work, nothing else is going to work. You're just scrambling.
But you don't need an all-pro offensive line in college. I mean, go look at Iowa right now. They had the Joe Moore Award winner, best offensive line. I guarantee you, not one of those guys on that line is a 5-star. Not one of them.
Yeah.
And I'd be willing to bet most of those young men are 3-stars.
Yeah.
Go hire him. Go find somebody like him.
That was Kirk Cignetti's second year. We're in second year of Cignetti at Indiana. And look where they're at. Mm-hmm. And nobody can name anybody on that offensive line or defensive line. It's coaching. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of white boys. There's not any big, Arnold Schwarzeneggers on the line. No. They're just well coached. And when you watch the film, I love to watch the film guy on YouTube. Mm-hmm. He just breaks it down so simply, and it's easy. It's hat on a hat. When Indiana was running the ball, it was hat on a hat, and the tailback. He didn't have hardly any room, but once he jumped between that crease, he's gone. That's why they're over 200 yards.
When you looked at Iowa playing Vandy, they were. Those guys. Nobody knew who they were. And they were mowing Vanderbilt down. They had no answer for it. And they have, I'm telling you right now, Iowa's got 3 tight ends that probably will play in the NFL. And you're like, okay, we need to go find a similar coach to that. And it can't be that hard. Iowa has him. We got to be able to find – there's a guy in the unemployment line that had a good offensive line out of those 15 teams that got fired or 16. We got to find somebody to replace it. I'm sorry. The talent that Kaepernick had to work with, and this is the result you get? No, not happening.
The James Madison offensive line coach, Tulane's offensive line coach, those are good lines. Well, think if we could get a coach like that, give him better talent, I think his success would be almost guaranteed because he'd have talent to work with.
He's got to have the right mentality. I want his players to actually fear him. I want his players to be like gonna drop a load in their pants if they miss a block and they have to go back to the sidelines and face him. I want him crawling in their ass. I want him to be on the sidelines and say, "Get over here." I don't see that in Kaepernick.
Yeah,
I don't see that.
I don't see any accountability.
No, and that's what needs to happen. And those things will sort themselves out. Hopefully we get some good news within a week or two, as time goes forward on this deal. And like I said, we're not the only school losing tons of people. I guarantee you, Georgia's got people in the portal. Texas does, Michigan, Penn State, you name it. Everybody's switching around, trying to make better deals, this, that, and the other. And just because you spend all the money doesn't mean you're going to go far in the playoffs. Look at Texas A&M. They had one of the most expensive rosters in the country. So did Ohio State. Look at Miami. Miami, in my opinion, has one of the best 1-2 combos in the country in their offensive and defensive lines. They're nasty.
Yeah.
That defensive line in Miami's, I would not want to be out there for a quarter against them.
No, I don't want to play Miami. No, I know what they would do to our offensive line. It'd be like men versus boys.
But those guys are straight killers. And I'm telling you right now, Ole Miss may get a little stunned by them, but I'm telling you right now, they may shock Indiana if Indiana beats Oregon. Those guys are nasty. They are absolutely a terror to try to deal with. Ohio State couldn't deal with them.
And Ole Miss, I don't think any of those guys were recruited by Kiffin out of high school. They're all portal guys. And, if you want to see how to build a team fast, look at Ole Miss. Get in the portal.
Now, we can recruit better, obviously, and then build the talent. But, and we're going to see it this year, you're going to have to pick up 5 linemen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If all those guys came back, I'd say you got to get 3. You have to go get 5 guys.
Yeah. DeBoer does not have time. If he wants to spend his career at Alabama for 10 or 15 years, he's got to do something like right now. Alabama's not going to wait. We've seen this pitiful performance for the last 2 years, and there's been absolutely no improvement. And all these other teams, they're improving. They're getting bigger, stronger, faster, better coached. So I think he's realized that, hey, if I'm going to stay, I got to make some major changes. I got to
But
blow it up and start over. And I think that's basically what he's doing. And I think all the contracts are being worked out now between the new coaches coming in and what all players that each one of those coaches can bring with them. Um, Especially the offensive line coach, because he's going to be under fire. He knows there's nothing at Alabama to work with.
mhm.
So the new offensive line coach, he's hammering the phones too, trying to get linemen to come with him. So I think a lot of that is going on right now. And the roster management, what have we got now? What, 52 players? Well, you need
Mhm.
105. We've only got half. The last couple of years, I don't know if any of those guys are still with the team. There's not many of them. They've come and gone, and so the boys got it's a new era. You got to rebuild
Mhm.
practically every year, and this is going to be a huge rebuilding year for Alabama.
And don't get me wrong, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there because I know we've been unloading and dropping loads of manure on some of the coaching staff and stuff. And I will say this: I want to thank the board and the staff for they did underperform at the end of the year, but what they did, that historic run in the middle of the season to get us to the playoffs and get us to the SEC championship game, make no doubt about it. I think we have the right coach at Bama. I think
Mm-hmm.
some of the pieces around him in the chessboard are not the right ones, period. Now, he did one hell of a job to get us through that awful stretch of SEC where we played 4 or 5 ranked teams, top 15 teams, back to back to back to back to back. We beat Georgia early in the year. We beat Missouri. We
South
beat
Carolina,
South Carolina. Uh, we beat Tennessee. We beat
yeah,
Vanderbilt. That is awesome. That was
yeah,
the sixth toughest schedule in the country, and we had no run game to speak of. That's a phenomenal job. That's a great job. I don't
mm-hmm.
care what some of these idiot Bama fans want to say. We're going to fire DeBoer.
No,
Negative. He needs to
no,
get rid of some of the at least 3 coaches around him.
yeah,
100% for
yeah,
sure. I honestly at this point, I say get the offensive coordinator gone, the running backs coach gone, offensive line coach gone, and honestly, I would bring, I would bring in Pruitt, even if he was a highly paid analyst or whatever, to
yeah,
make Kane Womack's butthole sweat. I'd
yeah,
say, hey, hey, if you want a game plan with him, use him all day, but just
mm-hmm.
know your asshole is going to be on fire because he's sitting right here.
Mm-hmm.
And or even if you want to say, look, you're going to be inside linebackers coach, you
Mm-hmm.
know, totally fine. Now I'm fine keeping Kane Womack. I like him. I'm fine keeping the defensive line coach because they progressed. But like I said, I think strength and conditioning coach gone, O line coach gone. I'm gonna say it again. I think Grubb needs to hit the door. I know it sounds bad, but man, we looked so underwhelming going into that game. We got our ass busted. We looked soft as toilet tissue, and there was no change up in the game plan. Like, well, let's see if it like everybody in Bama Nation, everybody with 2 brain cells to rub together was sitting there on that 4th and 1 thinking, like, okay, if you want to go for it, fine. What the hell are you doing giving to wide receiver and going side to side? Like,
180 pounder. No, and
we
it
got a two.
hadn't worked. It hadn't
Not
worked
only
all.
that, I'm gonna say one last thing. What the hell was that defense doing when Tim Keenan is over there screaming, "Get the plays in, get the plays in, get the plays in"? Jesus, it's the 15th game of the season. Call the play.
Hadn't you
Like he
figured
shouldn't have to be over there looking at the coaches like, what's the what? Make up your
it out?
mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's got to change too. But
Yeah.
I do like Kane Womack. I'd like to see him come back. But those other 3 coaches, I'm sorry, you need to be on the unemployment line. Go ahead and
Yeah.
pay them out. Do what you got to do.
Yep. Yep.
My pick for O line coach, if you're not going to go hire Jeff Stoutland if the Eagles back,
Yeah.
go get that Joe Moore award winner at Iowa. He's doing less with more. He's doing
Mm,
more with less. So go get
yep.
him. Maybe look at a different special teams coordinator because there's 50 of them walking around that got to be better than what we got.
Mm-hmm.
You need, like I said, you need a different running backs coach. And honestly, if you're going to go that far, go ahead and fire the OC, which I don't think any Bama fans would be upset about. And maybe you move him. Maybe you move Grubb to the quarterbacks coach, right? Or something
Yeah.
like that, or something like that to help out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, I wouldn't even be I wouldn't be sad if they brought Tommy Reese back. I was hoping that DeBoer would keep Reese.
Mm. Well, I agree. DeBoer is the right guy for the job. He just has to be tough and change out 4 or 5 coaches on staff.
At
He's
least
just
3.
got to do it. So that's going on right now. It may take a couple of weeks to get everything worked out. He may even be going for some of the 4 teams that are still in the playoffs. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, but before that, you've only got 8 days left in this portal. If I'm like math right, I think you get 10, but they got 8 now because it's been over 2 days. They're gonna have to grab some linemen, and you need a kind of a conditional bro kind of, yeah, I'm coming to Bama or whatever, because we gotta, like I said, we gotta get those five for sure.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen for sure. You've got to get a wide receiver. And like I said, going back to Formby that left, I I honestly think they wanted him, but they wanted him to play guard. Well, he wants to play tackle. He's made it well known he wants to play tackle, and we're like, dude, you're a turnstile, homie. Like you're watching people just destroy our quarterback. Like that ain't gonna work, man. Like
No.
no. So
Yeah. So a lot of changes in the air. It may take a week or two for the dust to settle, but there's a lot going on, and there's going to be some sleepless nights for a
yeah,
lot of coaching staff, and the portal manager that we've got, the roster management team. They're working 24/7. They aren't sleeping. They know
I
they're
agree.
on the line. They know what's at stake. I think DeBoer knows what's at stake, and that's why he's going to make some radical change. And he's already hinted at it just to let us know, which
Yep,
is
I agree.
I agree.
But anyway, that's it. And that's Tide Talk with Web. We out.